gentlemen. Oh, more politicians coming out and saying, "No reparations money, don't expect a payout." Oh, since they announced their final plans, oh, they're coming out like roaches, y'all. These lawmakers, they're coming out like roaches. So let's get to it. Lawmakers on reparations panel warn Black Californians not to expect huge payouts. Uh-huh. Then why are you even on the panel? So, as California lawmakers hail the work of a historic panel that has devolved into reparations proposals for African Americans for nearly 2 years, the state senator on the task force is warning Black residents to not assume that large cash payments are on the way. Democratic Senator Stephen Bradford of Los Angeles said anything's possible if the money's there, but he remains realistic that it could be difficult to garner enough support for large payments at a time when lawmakers haven't even debated where the money would come from. You know, it's amazing. Y'all have money for everything. And I have never heard you come out in the media saying, "Where's the money for the immigrants? And where is the money for the public schools? And where is the money for the farmers?" You only do it in this instance, and that's why when we look at these politicians with a side eye, we got every right to do it. I have never heard any instance where they came out. Even for other groups, for natives and anyone else that have received reparations, I have never heard one lawmaker come out and say, "Where is that money coming from?" Not once. You don't do that with Ukraine either. So, I don't want to set folks' expectations and hopes up that they're going to be getting, seven-figure checks. Bradford said in an interview. That's just not happening. The task force on Saturday approved proposals in its final report, which is officially due to lawmakers by July 1st. And this is not just California, but several other states around the country are also setting that deadline of July 1st. They included estimates from economists who said the state is responsible for more than $500 billion due to decades of over-policing, mass incarceration, and redlining that kept Black families from receiving loans and living in certain neighborhoods. The panel stopped short of endorsing specific payment amounts, but recommended any reparations program. No, we don't want program. See, I knew programs was going to come up in this article, y'all. And here it is. Any reparation program include the payment of cash or equivalent to be eligible to residents. It does not delve into how the state would pay for reparations programs. Okay? You are not gonna program your way out of this. It is just not gonna happen. And see, you know why they keep harping on programs? Because they wanna be in full control over what we get. So, you gotta ask who's gonna be controlling the programs? Colonizers? You know? That's why they keep harping on programs. They wanna be the ones having the purse strings and withholding it from anybody they want and giving it to anybody they want. And no, that's not the way it should be. Marcus Champion. A Los Angeles resident and organizer with the Coalition for Just Equitable California, a reparations advocacy group, criticized Bradford's comments. That is not the way you come to the table to pay a historic debt, he said. That is not the way that you come to the table in any type of negotiation. Start as high as you possibly can and then work from there. Payments are a part of a long list of recommendations from the 9 member task force that has studied how the state could apologize and offer recompense for policies that drove housing discrimination, mass incarceration, and health disparities long after chattel slavery was abolished. Proposals come as the state faces a projected $22.5 billion budget deficit. Yeah, but you don't complain about those deficits when you're shelling out money for everybody else. You don't have no complaint about your deficit or any debt or anything, except for when we show up to say we demand our reparations, and now you wanna talk to us about your debt. See, this is why every time you do that, it's not gaining any traction because we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom said in a statement that dealing with the legacy of slavery is about much more than cash payments. Yeah, because see, they want to offer you a bunch of programs. So, the Reparations Task Force independent findings, recommendations are a milestone in our bipartisan effort to advance justice and promote healing, Newsom said. We need to wait for the task force to finish the work and submit its final report. Assembly member Reggie Jones Sawyer, another Los Angeles area Democrat on the task force, took a more cautious approach in predicting the fate of payments or other reparations proposals. So, in other words, this is a scared Negro, y'all. This is a scared Negro. He said in an interview that it's too early to know whether payments could get passed in the legislature as the committee report deadline looms. We have absolutely no idea right now what will or will not be approved, he said. The task force proposals are wide ranging and ambitious. They include the creation of an agency that would help residents research their family history, promote financial legacy, and preserve historic cultural sites. The panel also endorsed policies to increase tree canopy in historically redline areas, to provide more incarcerated people with job training that prepares them for life after their sentences, and to restore land seized unfairly from Black families through eminent domain. That was the only reason why they came up with eminent domain, to take away from us. So, anyway, the committee is calling on the state to issue a formal public apology for its legacy of slavery and discriminatory policies. Although California entered the Union as a free state, it did not enact laws guaranteeing African Americans freedoms. Yeah, they carried out the same racist policies that they did all over the country. The apology could include condemnation of Peter Hardeman Burnett, California's first elected governor, a white supremacist who personally enslaved people and pushed for blacks' exclusion from the state. Okay. Now, you know what, to be honest with y'all, you can expect this from every single state where they got a task force. As soon as they start getting towards the end, to their final findings and their recommendations, you're going to see a lot of this happening all over the country. You're going to get the opposition all of a sudden rearing their head when that final recommendations are being submitted everywhere. You're going to get this same thing. It's not just California. Mm-mm. So Newsom signed into law 2020, creating the task force. The goal of the legislation, authored by Secretary of State Shirley Weber, the former state assembly member, was for the panel to study remedies for Black Californians, with a special consideration for the descendants of people who were enslaved. Last year, the task force voted to compensate um, the descendants of Black people living in the United States before the end of the 19th century. The panel more recently endorsed further limiting eligibility to residents living in California for at least 6 months, while certain discriminatory policies and practices were in effect, with possible exceptions. Weber's bill stated a reparations program in California should not be considered a replacement for a program at the federal level. The issue has stalled in Congress, with a bill to create a commission studying reparations proposals that has not been voted on since it was introduced in the 1980s. No, no other state in the country has gotten further along than California in its consideration of reparations proposals for Black Americans. The task force chair, Kamala Moore, said she's hopeful. Recommendations, including the agency and payments, could get enough support from state lawmakers. We've gone above and beyond, Moore said, of the group's work. So, yeah, so you're going to see all the opposition. And when it goes up for vote, watch how many people will rise up against it in the state legislature. Because, they're doing a lot of saber rattling over these payments now. And it seems to be stories dropping every day. These people that are opposing. And the unfortunate thing, some of these people look just like us. It is a real true disgrace. So, y'all gonna have to tell me what you think about this latest story that have come out about the payments going to Black Californians, and they don't want the payments to be big or no payment at all. Take this program instead. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.